yo, it's Smooth Milo here. So a little while back there was a sneak peek of RWBY Volume 9, and after having some time to review the events of the previous seasons, I am convinced that the main focus of the next volume is going to be about Semblance evolution, involving the semblances of Team RWBY and Jean, and possibly even Nia. Just really quick, in case anyone's unsure, a semblance evolution in theory would allow a user's semblance to grow to a much stronger state, allowing for new functionality and abilities that are vastly different from the semblance's previously established mechanics. If you're still confused, stay with me, because once I bring up an example, I think you'll see what I mean. Now you may think that's a pretty wild theory. You may be wondering if it's even possible to evolve a semblance. You may even be wondering if I'm mentally sound. I am. Probably. Mentally sound. I'm probably mentally sound is what I was trying to say. It came out a bit weird, but whatever. As for the other stuff, hear me out, because I think I can convince you on this theory. So let me take you through my thought process. For starters, why would we even need this? And to answer that question, let me take you back to the end of Volume 8. Oh yeah, spoilers for if you haven't caught up to the end of RWBY Volume 8. Go do that first, then come back. Please come back. So, at the end of Volume 8, Team RWBY falls into the abyss, doing the one thing Ambrosius, the handsome staff dude, told them not to do. And then as an after-credits scene, we see the team's weapons wash up on the shore of a very tropical island, implying that of course that they're not dead, they've just been transported to another planet. Or dimension. Plane of existence? I say that because in the sneak peek there's two suns, so it's at least a different planet. And when I saw the tropical island, I immediately thought to myself, training arc. But Smooth, we just had a training arc in Volume 7. Correction, we had a training montage. And while everyone did get stronger, apparently, they still took an L against Cinder, losing both relics. And this is what leads me to believe that the team is due for a power boost. At least that's sort of how it goes in anime, and RWBY was heavily inspired by anime. The heroes lose, realize they need to get stronger, and go on a training journey. And I think after the last fight, the girls will realize just how big of a difference having access to magic makes. So they'll need something to help bridge the gap. Enter Semblance Evolution Training Arc. Okay, let's say we're all on the same page with them needing a power boost. If you're not on the same page, just pretend. Here's the million-dollar question. Can a semblance even evolve? Well, what if I told you that not only can a semblance evolve, but that you have actually already seen the moment it evolved twice. The obvious one being Ren's semblance, but the not so obvious one being Emerald's. And I'm going to use her in my explanation because the power boost she gets, dude, it's ludicrous. Let me quickly explain Emerald's semblance. Come on, Mouth, I thought we were on the same team here. Emerald has the ability to cast illusions on her targets, making them see, hear, and possibly even feel whatever she wants them to. In the early seasons of RWBY, there did seem to be a few restrictions on her semblance. She needed to look at the targets, and she seems to only really affect one person. For example, Yang saw Mercury attack her, but no one else did. However, at the end of Volume 5, this changes. Keep those restrictions I mentioned in mind, because they're important. At the very end of Volume 5, Emerald, Hazel, and Mercury now have their backs against the wall. She's basically holding out, waiting for Cinder to return and change the tide. But Yang is the one who comes back from the vault, with the relic in hand. Emerald, now realizing that Cinder was defeated, starts panicking, clearly under huge mental strain. She then clutches her head in pain and releases this monster. Emerald casts an illusion so powerful that even RWBY is scared stiff. And here's the really important part. RWBY wasn't the only one to see it. Everyone in the room saw this illusion. Now remember those restrictions I mentioned on Emerald's semblance? Well, those just went straight out the window, because you'd be hard-pressed to convince me that she was looking at everyone in the room. Not all of them were in her direct line of sight, but all of them saw Salem. Emerald's semblance just evolved. Now Emerald doesn't even need to look at her target to cast an illusion that only they will see. It seems that as long as you're within the vicinity, you will see whatever illusion Emerald is creating at that moment. And this is proven in Volume 8. We see Emerald sneaking Oscar out of the whale. I think its name is Timmy, correct me if I'm wrong. while putting up the constant illusion that Oscar is Hazel. And it doesn't make sense that this illusion is already up if it only affects a specific target like it did in Volume 3. You may be thinking that they just did that to fool us, the audience, but Jean, Ren, and Yang very clearly see the same illusion. And you might go, maybe she cast the illusion on them out of instinct, since she needed everyone inside Timmy to believe Oscar was Hazel. And that's possible, but I counter your arguments with this fight scene against Ironwood. In this scene, Ironwood is the only person who Emerald needs to cast an illusion on. But right here, right there, we see Emerald turn herself visible again. And keep in mind, Ironwood, the only person she needs to cast an illusion on, is already out cold, meaning that everyone in the area was under the illusion that Emerald is invisible. I'd also like to take a quick moment to say that Emerald Semblance is freaking OP AF now that it's evolved. I think it makes her one of the most capable fighters in the entire series. I mean, invisibility alone would be strong enough, but she can make everyone see whatever she wants. You know how effective Genjutsu is in Naruto? Very! And she has a version that can be cast without any sort of setup. Even in a world where people can casually conjure fireballs from nothing, move faster than the human eye can even register, and hold fudging lightning bolts to hit people with, Emerald Semblance would still be considered a broken ability. She'd be pretty much untouchable in a fight. After all, it's hard to hit what you can't see, let alone fight when you can't trust your eyes and ears. Plus, she also seems to be able to detect mines that are in an area.
I knew I sensed some weak minds nearby.
So, forget about sneaking up on her. By the way, it's also worth noting that Salem says to Emerald, "You've been honing that semblance of yours," which tells me that this may not even be the limits of a semblance's power. Okay, let's get back to the topic, and now look at the power boost given by Ren's semblance evolving. Ren goes from just masking negative emotions, which is useful for hiding from Grim, to being able to see other people's emotions as visible aura. He was also able to locate Oscar while inside Timmy, who is a giant whale, so substantial boosts all around. And like I said, after fighting against Maiden Powers again, as well as Jean and Yang personally witnessing what Salem's magic can do, I think they're all going to realize that a significant boost to their combat capabilities is required. By the way, it seems the evolution in both cases was triggered by extreme mental duress. I think I used the word duress correctly. At least I hope so. So here's how I think Volume 9 is going to go down. RWBY is going to meet up with the rest of her team and Jean, while Neo hides in the background because she can't fight them all at once. While looking for a way off the island, they meet some kind of wise sentient life, perhaps traces of the first humans who could use magic. Maybe even the first two globs themselves, because they fudged off to another planet, right? I don't know. And this person will see a semblance in action and be like, "Hey, you could probably make that stronger." Jean and Yang will then confirm this by sharing what they saw with Ren's semblance, and then everyone starts working on trying to trigger a semblance evolution, bringing up memories of when they first activated their semblances, and the Neo redemption arc probably happens along the way. Now, let's pretend this theory is correct. Just pretend with me, alright? I wonder what the evolved semblances would look like. Maybe Yang can take the damage she's received and fire it off as an, energy projectile by punching the air in front of her. Blake's clones could maybe do more than just stand and take a hit. Maybe they can move around and make sounds and last a bit longer than a few seconds. For Weiss, I'm thinking she summons an entire army and commands them like a ruler, becoming the true Ice Queen. And RWBY, I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure what RWBY Semblance would do. I also heard a theory that RWBY has already evolved her semblance, and that's why she can split into multiple bursts. So maybe she'll just work on her silver eyes if that theory's true. As for Jean and Neo though, I got nothing. No clue what they could evolve to. I think it's pretty fun to think about though, so if you have any cool ideas on semblance evolutions, let me know, I'd love to hear them. And while this whole semblance evolution thing is still technically just a theory, I think it's a pretty convincing one, right? And I'm sure some of you out there agree with me. I know Phoenix Knight does. Right, probably. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Thanks for stopping by, and remember to keep it smooth. Okay, so real quick. The way I usually make these videos is first I write out the script, then I record the audio, Then I looked for visuals to match the audio. While looking for visuals, I found this.
You guys are evolving, and I still don't even have my semblance. You guys are evolving, and you guys are evolving, and
You guys are evolving, and
Theory confirmed. Keep it smooth.